Mutta voidaan vastata tuon kysymykseen. Ihminen varmaan lähtenee pois tästä tilanteesta, mutta poor people don't commit crimes when their bills are paid and their needs are met. The idea that the poor are more criminal than the managerial and ruling class they aren't because of some cultural identity is just an excuse to oppress, nothing else. Well, yeah, the sociological explanation of crime is just that people have needs that aren't met by the government. If they need like social housing or something and the government isn't giving that, people are like, fuck you. I'm gonna build them ourselves. And the government is saying you can't build there. Then they're just like, yeah, but we need them. Fuck you. And then they just do it. We could have something we describe as crime. It's just like, well, I think it has just a different term. When something is just unethical behavior, like killing someone, then it's just unethical thing to do from the society's standpoint, not like from the government standpoint. Is always the law. Government is always saying, this is the law. You have to do this because we say you have to do this. Or well, there is something called norms, which are the function of like socialization, which are social laws, kind of, meaning that you have to use fork and knife because we say so. If you don't, it's going to be weird. This is going to be a weird atmosphere for you if you don't do it. Or if you have parents, they're going to say to the child, no, you can't do that. Take that knife and fork. I'm going to hit you. No, not hit you. I'm going to ground you. Yes, we are speaking English because there was this English question for some reason. The person is probably not here and it's spam, but still, I'm going to answer it. The criminal element in many cases, when we are looking at the large picture, for example, in United States, if people don't have any like jobs, or they don't have any security because police is just more aggressive and brutal than any like assailant trying to hit you or something. So you take the justice in your own hands, and that eventually leads it to be a criminal organization, despite it still being and not being part of like a really unethical behavior, just like challenging the violent system and just saying like, I don't like your violent system, my violent system is better. Then it's criminal. Or even sometimes these people are called terrorists. Well, usually you're a terrorist if you do some kind of political action, like I don't believe in this legitimacy of this government. I'm going to just bomb this group and just do it. Using my own rules for this violence. But before in this stream we talked about the history of people just stealing land and murdering each other. Basically, I like saying basically when you have this ruling class, which is a continuation of this, it's just retrospectively said that, well, what we did was lawful and good because we are writing the history of this thing. Of course, our forefathers were good because they're my forefathers. They did a good thing. It was not a crime. Those people didn't innovate and use the land properly for profit. Which is also the same that was said about Aboriginal land, or is still being said. The argument being just that, well, we can take this land because you're not using it. You're living there, you're hunting food there, but you're not making profit. So you're not actually using the land. Fuck you. Oh, you are. You say you own this land and you are here. Well, I say no. I have guns. I'm going to shoot you. That's basically the nice history of conquering the world. But yeah, this is my answer to that question. I think I can just rehash the same things over and over again because they always answer the same things. Like for example, in this question, the patterns are the same always. Or of course the patterns look like it because you have this framework of how you analyze different patterns, which is the criticism of Marxian thought. Of course, if you are looking at the world through the lens of class struggle, suddenly you find class struggle, but I don't think this is good criticism because the point is to say that it is class struggle, then to say, yeah, if you say it's class struggle, it's class struggle. I disagree. But why do you disagree? It misses a huge chunk of the argument. It's basically, no, that's not true argument. It would be required to say, yeah, you see it through the lens of class struggle, but if we use this lens, then we also see these things that are not class struggle. It would need that kind of follow-up and line of thought. I don't even know what the counter arguments are. Maybe something like, well, the ruling class and people liked each other. They were one huge family. If you ask the slaves, they actually liked the system. Or some slaves, not everyone. So I don't see the problem. It's not a struggle. It's something else. History. En mä tiedä. Mut joo. Englantia pääsee puhuu niin harvoin, niin sitten joskus on ihan vaan hauska välillä puhua sitä. No ehkä välillä, kun pyöri poliittisissa jutuissa, niin välillä sitten päästä tutustuu aina kaikki, jotka puhuu englantia. Tai toki myös venäjää, jos osaa sanoa venäjää, mutta ei osaa. Niin se pysyy aika ruosteessa just sen takia. Baarissa mä juttelin läpäli yhden ihmisen kanssa, hän on niin puoliksi jenkki, mutta hän osasi täysin suomea, että se oli vaan semmoinen läpällä siirryttiin siihen, mutta siitäkin jo kuukausi aikaa. Ennen sitä mä en varmaan yli puoleen vuoteen varmaan käyttänyt englantia. Että se on kyllä vähän sillä vähän harmi, koska ihan välillä ihan hauska puhua jollain toisella kielellä. No se on ainoa toinen kieli, mitä voin puhua, niin, mutta se on ihan hauskaa. Koska se ajattelu, se on jännä, että se ajattelu on jotenkin vähän erilaista. Siinä tulee vähän semmoinen erilainen poljento tietyllä tavalla. Siinä jotenkin joutuu ehkä jollakin tavalla miettimään. Siinä joutuu vaan miettimään eri tavalla. Mä en osaa selittää miten eri tavalla. Ehkä sillä, että joutuu paljon enemmän vielä pohtia sanoja. Niin, mitä joutuu suomen kielessä. Suomen kielessä voi vaan rullaa eteenpäin. Voit puhua tosi paljon kaikkea. tosi nopealla tahdilla, mutta sitten englannin kielessä tulee silleen, että alkaa puhua kaikennäköisiä asioita, ja sitten, no mä osaan kyllä sen takia yleensä puhua ihan hyvällä poljennolla, koska mä en just mä puhun aika lailla englantia, niin kuin mä puhun suomeakin. When I do speak English, I'm not like thinking, and I notice I say like more, which is the same as niinku in Finnish. But I don't try to think about all the words. Do I say next, maybe it's intelligence, maybe it's rhetoric, maybe it's oratory skill, I don't do this kind of thinking. I even say the wrong words, and I don't try to think about the pronunciation because, well, people who understand anything about languages understand how odd accent is. There isn't right kind of accent. The right kind of accent is American English accent or British English accent, but that's just one accent of English language, and we don't expect British English people to not speak their accent, and if they're in Finland, like could you talk more like this because you're now in Finland? It's really funny when you say bo'o wo'o. Can you speak like a true Finnish person? Can you say bottle of water? Because that's really embarrassing because you are saying bo'o wo'o. But for me, actually, it's hard to do the Finnish accent, or I have to consciously do it, because it's kind of like an imitation. So my accent is kind of a weird mixture of all kind of different things. I think it's closest to American English accent. It doesn't have the British pronunciation. It's kind of some things are in the Finnish accent, like there, but some things are kind of lazy American English accent. We have this thing called Rally English. Yep, that's kind of weird because it's like a Finnish accent. Yeah, my accent could be a potato, but it's kind of weird. I'm trying to do the Finnish accent. I can do it if I. That wasn't a good Finnish accent just there. It's actually quite hard to do a Finnish accent consciously, like trying to have every word be a Finnish accent. But when we actually speak in Finnish accent, people find it like interesting and charismatic, and it has personality. For example, how Kimi Räikkönen is seen in the public, people really like that rally accent. It's really fun to listen to. And Finnish accent is really precise. You can hear all the like consonants and vowels. So actually the consonants are really clear. That's the good thing. But when you hear Italian people speaking, or God forbid French people speaking English, it's horrible trying to understand what they are saying. But when you hear Finnish people speaking English, it's quite clear what they are saying. It's not unclear. So the funny thing is that we are or our thinking of this is actually the most backward way of thinking that it's embarrassing to have the Finnish accent when it's embarrassing to be embarrassed about Finnish accent. Because people don't understand this at all. If you talk to Italian person saying, yeah, in Finland we have this thing where we are embarrassed of our accent showing in our way of speaking English, that they look at you like, are you stupid or something? Like, what's wrong with you? It's mostly embarrassing to other Finnish people. And the funny thing is, Finnish people are the only people saying in the room that like that is so embarrassing. Of course, it's a different thing if someone is actually bad at English, like they are a politician and speaking English in a way that's just like they're lost at words and they are saying wrong things and speaking really slowly or something like that. But if they are speaking really confidently and saying the right things, but their accent is showing, that's embarrassing. And then it's not embarrassing when some Finnish person has purposefully tried to learn British or American English pronunciation, practicing that pronunciation so that they can lose their accent. That's actually, I think, the most embarrassing thing to do, I think. But for me, because I listen a lot of like American English from podcasts and stuff like that, it's more natural for me to have this kind of weird, it's not full American English accent, but like I said, it's closer to there. And I listen to YouTube and stuff like that. There are some foreign speakers of English. I think that might do some of the kind of like mixture kind of accent thing, because I do listen to people who are native Spanish speakers but speak in English, or Irish speakers, or well, British people also, but they don't have that incredibly like thick accent. Well, when thinking about English people that are speaking English but that I don't understand at all, Limi is one of them. Limi is one of them. I think it's all the English accents that don't have any consonants. Kind of, it's like fucking hell. But of course, that's just the familiarity. If I would live there, I would completely understand everything, or if I would consume that content more. And there isn't a reason for them to be embarrassed of the accent, but in that case, because it's so unclear for some, like even if people understand English, they actually don't understand what you're saying without being, what? Oh, water. Okay. In those situations, maybe there is actually a point to somewhat be more precise with your enunciation. So maybe there, but it's hard to say who's at fault there. Like if you go to that country and be there, like you have to enunciate more properly. What are you doing? I don't understand you. Mut joo, semmoista. Mä itse asiassa en tajunnut, että mä puhuin jossain vaiheessa tuossa englantia, mulla ei ollut tarkoitus, mutta itse asiassa vähän just mitä mä tarkoitan sillä, että mulla päässyt just sillä, että mä en niin kuin ajattele, että mä periaatteessa, mä en ajattele sitä, mitä mä oon puhumassa, niin joskus voi jäädä päälle, että mä puhun englantia. Niitä on vaikuttanut Cockney sekä Lontoon muutakin ja jamaikalainen lausetapa sen verta paljon, että se saattaa mennä pahimmillaan ylivälillä. Joo, voin uskoa. Itse asiassa mä vaan, te lopettaa striimi, vittu. Tästä tulee oma video, niin mä vaan itteeni varten näytän tuo. Joo, noin hyvä.